Right now, while you're watching this, your brake fluid is doing something that could cost you thousands of dollars. Or worse, it could cost you your life. And I'm not being dramatic, I'm being factual. Brake fluid is the single most neglected fluid in almost every car on the road, and the damage it causes doesn't announce itself. There is no warning light, no strange noise, no smell. It just silently eats your brake system from the inside out until one day you press that pedal and it goes soft, or it goes straight to the floor. By then, you are not looking at a $50 fluid change. You are looking at calipers, brake lines, a master cylinder, and a repair bill that could have been avoided if you had known what we are about to cover. Today, I am going to walk you through 5 brake fluid mistakes that are actively destroying brake systems all over the world right now. These are not rare mechanic-only problems. These are everyday mistakes that regular drivers make because nobody ever told them not to. Number 3 is so common that most drivers do not even realize they are doing it. So stay locked in because this could literally save your brakes, your wallet, and your safety. Now, if you are the kind of driver who actually wants to understand your car and stop getting ripped off at the shop, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. We put out new content every single week breaking down the stuff nobody else tells you. If this video helps you avoid even one of these mistakes, it already paid for itself. So subscribe and let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Never changing your brake fluid. This is the big one, and it is the most common. If you have owned your car for 3, 4, or 5 years, and you have never once had the brake fluid changed, you are driving on borrowed time. Here is why. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. That means brake fluid absorbs moisture from the air. It does this naturally and constantly. Every single day your car sits in your garage or your driveway. Over time, that moisture builds up inside the fluid. Once the water content gets high enough, everything starts to go wrong. First problem: water lowers the boiling point of your brake fluid. Fresh .3 fluid has a dry boiling point around 205 degrees Celsius. But once it absorbs enough moisture, that boiling point can drop below 140 degrees Celsius. Now think about what happens when you brake hard. Friction generates heat, a lot of heat. If your fluid boils, it turns into gas bubbles inside the brake lines, and gas compresses. That is why your pedal goes soft or spongy. That is vapor lock, and it means your brakes are not stopping you with full force. Second problem: that water inside your brake lines causes corrosion. It rusts your brake lines from the inside. It corrodes your caliper pistons. It eats away at the seals in your master cylinder. None of this is visible from the outside. By the time you see a leak or feel a problem, the damage has been building for years. The fix is simple. Change your brake fluid every 2 years or 40,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. Some manufacturers say every 3 years, and that is fine too. The point is it needs to happen on a schedule. A brake fluid flush costs between $60 and $150 at most shops. Replacing a corroded master cylinder and 2 calipers can run you $800 to $1,500. That math speaks for itself. Mistake number 2. Mixing different types of brake fluid. This happens more than people realize, and it usually starts with good intentions. Your brake fluid is a little low, so you go to the parts store, grab a bottle, and top it off. The problem is you grab DOT3 and your car calls for DOT4. Or worse, you grabbed DOT5 because the number is higher, so you figured it is better. It does not work that way. DOT3 and DOT4 are both glycol-based fluids, and while mixing them will not immediately destroy anything, it does lower the performance of the higher-rated fluid. You are essentially diluting DOT4 down toward DOT3 specs. If your car was engineered for DOT4 performance, you are now running below what the braking system was designed to handle. Under normal driving, you might not notice. Under hard braking or mountain driving, you absolutely will. But the real disaster is mixing DOT5 with anything else. DOT5 is silicone-based. DOT3 and DOT4 are glycol-based. These two chemistries do not get along. Mix them and you get swelling of rubber seals, breakdown of the fluid properties, and air pockets forming in the system. You will get a soft pedal, inconsistent braking, and eventually seal failure that leads to leaks. And once your brake system is leaking, you are not just talking about a fluid change, you are talking about rebuilding components. The rule is dead simple. Check your owner's manual or the cap on your brake fluid reservoir. It tells you exactly what type to use. Use that type, and only that type, every single time. Before we get to mistake number 3, and trust me, this is the one almost everybody is guilty of. Mistake number 3. Driving with old, dark brake fluid and thinking it's normal. This is the one most drivers do, and it's the most dangerous because it feels like nothing is wrong. Here's the scenario. You pop your hood for whatever reason, maybe you're checking your oil, and you glance at the brake fluid reservoir. The fluid in there is dark brown, almost black, and you think that looks fine, it's just old. That's what brake fluid looks like. No, that is not what healthy brake fluid looks like. Fresh brake fluid is almost clear, with a very slight yellow tint. If your brake fluid is amber, it is starting to age and should be monitored. If it is dark brown or black, it is heavily contaminated with moisture and particulate matter. It needed to be changed a long time ago. That dark color is telling you that the fluid has absorbed a significant amount of water and has likely started the corrosion process inside your brake lines and components. The reason this mistake is so widespread is that most drivers never look at their brake fluid in the first place. And even when they do, they don't know what they're looking at. Oil is dark, transmission fluid can be dark, so people assume brake fluid is the same. It is not. Brake fluid that has gone dark has failed. It is no longer protecting your system. It is actively damaging it. Here is what you should do. Once a month, pop your hood and look at the reservoir. It takes 10 seconds. If the fluid is clear or light yellow, you're good. If it's getting amber, start planning a flush in the next few months. If it's dark brown or black, get it flushed immediately. Don't wait. And here is a pro tip that almost nobody knows about. You can buy brake fluid test strips for a few dollars. You dip the strip into the reservoir, wait 60 seconds, and it tells you the moisture content of your fluid. Anything above 3% moisture means it's time for a change. This is something you can do in your own driveway in under 2 minutes, and it gives you a real, scientific answer instead of just guessing based on color. Mistake number 4. Letting the brake fluid reservoir run low. Your brake fluid doesn't burn off like oil. It doesn't evaporate. So, if your reservoir level is dropping, that means one of two things. Either your brake pads are wearing down and the calipers are extending further to compensate, which draws more fluid into the lines, or you have a leak somewhere in the system. Either way, a low reservoir is not something you ignore. When the fluid level drops low enough, air gets into the brake lines. And air in your brake lines is a disaster. Brake fluid works because liquid does not compress. When you press the pedal, the fluid transfers that force directly to the calipers. But air compresses. So if there is air in the lines, you press the pedal, and instead of firm, direct stopping power, you get a soft, mushy pedal that requires more pressure and more distance to stop the car. Now, some people see the level is low and just top it off. That's fine as a temporary measure, but topping off is not a fix, it is a bandage. If the level dropped because your pads are worn, topping off just masks the fact that you need new brake pads. And if the level dropped because of a leak, topping off is like putting a bucket under a leaking roof and calling it repaired. The correct move is this. If your brake fluid is low, top it off with the correct type to get you safely to a shop, and then have the system inspected. Check pad thickness. Check all lines and fittings for leaks. Check the calipers and the master cylinder. Find out why the level dropped and fix the cause, not just the symptom. Mistake number 5. Using an already open bottle of brake fluid. This one catches people off guard because it seems so harmless. You bought a bottle of brake fluid 6 months ago, used half of it, screwed the cap back on, and put it on your shelf. Now you need to top off again, and you figure you will just use the rest of that bottle. Don't. Remember what we talked about in mistake number 1. Brake fluid absorbs moisture from the air. The moment you crack that seal and open that bottle, air got in. Every day that bottle has been sitting on your shelf. Even with the cap on tight, that fluid has been absorbing moisture. It might not look any different, and it might feel the same, but its boiling point has dropped, and you are essentially pouring already contaminated fluid into your brake system. This is especially dangerous because you think you are being responsible. You are checking your fluid, you are topping it off, you are doing the maintenance, but you are putting in fluid that is already degraded before it even enters the system. You are starting behind. The rule is simple. When you buy brake fluid, buy a small bottle, use what you need, and throw away or properly recycle the rest. Do not store opened brake fluid. If a bottle has been open for more than a few weeks, treat it as compromised. A new bottle costs a few dollars. A corroded brake line costs a few $100s. It is not even a question. Alright, so let's recap these 5 mistakes real quick because every single one of them matters. First, never changing your brake fluid. Second, mixing different types. Third, ignoring dark contaminated fluid because you think it's normal. Fourth, letting the reservoir run low without investigating why. And fifth, using old opened bottles of brake fluid that have already absorbed moisture. If you are doing even one of these, your brake system is aging faster than it should, and you are setting yourself up for an expensive repair or a dangerous failure. The good news is every single one of these is easy to fix once you know about it. That is what this channel is about, giving you the knowledge so you can take control of your own car. Now, if this video helped you, smash that like button so the algorithm pushes this out to more drivers who need to hear it. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 5 mistakes you have been guilty of. I guarantee the third will be the most common answer. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We have got a lot more coming, and you do not want to miss it. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.